Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie, so much. Thank you. Yeah. No, no problem at all. That's really important stuff. You know, it's important for us to kind of follow that guidance. So I was saying to Carrie that I think the way that they're doing it here could be a model for a lot of COAs because not every place is doing it this way. So I'll just say that and leave it at that. So how are you all doing this morning?
Good.
How's everybody feeling like with being able to get outside and do some things that feel good for yourself? Do you feel like you have enough of that? Yeah, okay. And how about some yoga? No, did somebody say no? No, okay. So we need to just honor that some, you know, some of us really are having some difficulties with sort of being locked down a little bit more, and there's only so much we can do that remains safe. So this is where our yoga practice can be really handy. So, you know, we come and we do our stretches and our exercises and strengthening and all of that's good. But one of the benefits of doing a consistent yoga practice is understanding, you know, how we are triggered by things, how we respond to things, how we react to things. And it's a way to make a different choice about things. So what I can control, how much can I control? 0. I can only control my reactions to things. I can't control anything outside of this. So what Carrie was just talking about, being in this really kind of precarious moment where things could go really wrong, or we could do a really good job and have them go right. I can only control what I've got going on inside myself. So our breathing practice helps us with that, right? Because what happens when we're doing our breathing practice is it brings us into a moment. And this moment is really all we have, right? So what's gone before, that's past. What's coming up, I don't know. You know, we can maybe make some predictions about that, but who knows where that's going to go. So if you find yourself struggling with, you know, sort of being able to stay centered and in the moment, a breath meditation is a really quick way to kind of get you reoriented to where you are. So that's what we're going to do this morning, is a meditation on breathing. And I know some of you do this already. So come right up to the front of your chair. Close your eyes. And lengthen your spine. So from your tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head. Think about your spine not as this straight kind of structure, but as this beautiful sinewy structure. So there's some curves in your spine. The bones aren't cemented together. There's little discs between each of the bones. There's fluid in and around those discs. So everything in the spine, when we talk about spinal alignment, we want to make sure that we provide some space, some room and opportunity for the spine to not be stick straight, but to have it be fluid. And think about your shoulders being aligned right on top of your hips. And your head, if you can imagine your head like a water balloon on top of your shoulders. So if your chin is lifted off the front, and if your chin is tucked in too far, the head will roll right off. So thinking about the head like a water balloon just perched on the shoulders. And notice if you're holding tension somewhere else in your body, maybe your hands or your feet, maybe your legs, your belly, your shoulder tops, your jaw. And shift your attention now to your breathing. And feel the breath as it's moving in and out of your body. So bringing your awareness into your body with the breath moving in and out. Is the breath fast or slow? Is it shallow or deep? Feeling the temperature of the air as you inhale and the temperature as you exhale. And then begin to slow your breathing down. So just take a longer breath as you count to 4 in your mind. And then as you exhale that breath, also count to 4 in your mind. And know that as you're doing this breathing practice, there's always going to be distraction. So we allow the breath to be the focal point. Remember what we can and can't control. I cannot control what's outside of myself. I can only control my response and my reaction. Focusing on the breath, moving in and out to a slow count of 4 on each inhalation and each exhalation. Staying focused and centered. Let's see if we can increase the count of our breathing so that as you inhale, you count to 5, and as you exhale, you count to 5. Once again, the breaths are long and slow and deep. The outside world goes on, but the inside world is your haven. Every time the mind wanders, every time the mind becomes distracted, call it back to the counting of the breaths. Breathing in and breathing out, counting to 5 on each inhalation, counting to 5 on each exhalation. The next time that you inhale, pause at the top of that inhalation. So you're counting to 5 as you breathe in. When you get to the top of the inhalation, and see if you can count to 5 here, holding your breath for a count of 5. And after you've held your breath for a count of 5, exhale to a count of 5. And go right back into your inhale to a count of 5. So we've added one more element. We breathe into 5, we hold the breath for 5, and then we breathe out for 5. Let's do one more round, breathing into 5, holding for 5, and breathing out for 5. After you've completed that final exhalation to 5, let your breath return to its natural rhythm. Just notice what that feels like. Let your eyes drift open. Okay, and then let's just stretch the arms up overhead, reaching up through the right side and reaching up through the left side. Grab hold of one of your wrists with the other hand, make a little bracelet there, and then just pull that arm over. Then switch sides, do the same thing on the other side. Just gonna pull that over. Let's do this twice on each side. So once more on each side. Nice. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Don't forget that part. And then let's relax the arms. Let them come all the way down. We're going to move right into some motion with the feet today. So extend that right leg. Let's point and flex the toes. So we're doing this inside. If you're in your shoes, doing this inside your shoes with your foot. And as you're doing this, notice that you feel something up in your leg. So it's not just the toes that are working. It's primarily the toes, but you've got something going on in the leg too. That's because the muscles from your toes and your foot actually come up above. Your spine is nice and tall, so we're not just kind of hanging out in this slouchy position. And then we'll start to point and flex the foot. Good. So maybe you can tap your toes, or maybe your toes don't quite make it to the floor, and that's okay. If you need a little break, or if this feels like it's too much, you can have your heel on the floor and just do this with your heel resting on the floor. And then we'll circle at the ankle. Breathing in, breathing out, feeling the spine tall. The belly is strong here. And reverse direction of your circles. Great. And then have your heel on the floor. Bring your hands one on either side of your hips, so you're kind of right here on the chair. This is just to provide that extra bit of support and awareness that we're sitting up tall. So we're going to bend and extend this knee. Bending and extending the knee. So you might hear some noise in there. Anybody got some noise in the knee this morning? Yeah, knees are noisy. They tend to be noisy. If it's like crinkly, crackly stuff, that's pretty common. And pretty much any noise without pain is generally okay. So the next time that you bend your knee, I'm going to have you bring your foot to the floor. So you're stretching the bottom of your foot. So if you're kind of like this with the bottom of your foot, and then slide that foot back or wiggle it back a little bit until you feel it's gone as far as it can go. Keep going. All right, so you want to stretch the bottom of the toes. Okay, now with your hands here on the chair, what we're going to do is keep the spine nice and straight, and we're going to lean back a little bit and then come forward. All right, so just breathing in and breathing out, leaning back a little bit and coming forward. So when you lean back, you should feel your belly muscles kind of firm up. Everybody getting there? Excellent. Okay, 2 more times. We're just going to lean back and come forward. And last time. Great. Now keep your upper body where it is and press your heel toward the floor. And then lift up onto your toes. And press your heel toward the floor and lift up on your toes. So do that a few times. So we're stretching a little bit more, maybe around the knee for some people, maybe up into the thigh, maybe it's into the foot. There's all different places we might feel it, maybe even up here into the hip, the front of the hip. Great. Just a couple more. Good. All right. And then let's lean back a little bit as we slide or move this foot forward. We're going to extend that leg, have the heel on the floor. Now firm up the muscles here. I talk an awful lot about the quadriceps muscles. Those are the muscles in the top of your leg, in the front of your thigh. So squeeze those muscles as strongly as you can. And once again, with your hands alongside you, we're going to lift and lower that heel. So the object here is to lift the heel off the floor and keep the body straight. So in other words, I could lean way back here and get my foot way up. But I want to keep my spine nice and straight, and we're working partly the belly muscles, deep in the belly, into the top of the thigh. Everybody feeling that? Mm-hmm. All right, next time you lift, hold, and breathe. Press out through your heel, and pull your toes toward your knee. Pull the toes toward the knee as best you can. Keep breathing. So when you pull your toes toward your knee, can you feel the muscles right here get extra strong? Good, that's what we're trying to do. We're going to hold this for 5 breaths, you guys. That's a lot. So breathing in and out. 5 long, slow, deep breaths. Here's 2. And 3. And 4. And maybe you're feeling some shaking in there. Maybe a little burning in there. That's okay. And 5. We're going to lower it all the way down. Excellent job. Give that knee a little bend and let's give that leg a massage. So now we have strengthened those muscles. We've taxed them. So when you feel that burning or that shaking, that means the muscles have gone to their maximum capacity. And that's a great way to work your muscles, to make them stronger, to get them to that maximum capacity. So let's extend that leg one more time, heel on the floor. I'm going to rotate the whole leg in and out. And as we rotate, you can think about it like a big windshield wiper. And the movement happens, if you take your hand up to your hip, you should feel some rotation up in here, right? So if you bring it to the outside of the hip, to the front of the hip, there should be some rotation that you feel there, not all in the ankle, because that's an easy thing to do with the ankle. Next time your foot is angled to the little toe side, you're going to stay there. That's about the 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock position for most of you. Hands alongside you, sit up nice and tall. You're going to lift and lower that heel, and slow and steady, right? So sometimes the tendency is to lift really quickly. So we're using a little bit of the back muscles. We're using a little bit of momentum. The slower you go, the harder this is. The next time you lift, let's hold here and breathe. And it doesn't have to be high. It might be just like a ½ inch off the floor. Make sure the foot stays angled out to the little toe side. Press out through your heel and pull your toes toward your knee. And breathe. So as this gets more challenging, it might be more challenging with your breath as well. Okay, how about 3 more? Can we hold this for 3 more? That's a long time, right? Yeah, especially when I do the counting. It's easier when you do the counting. Okay, so I think that's 2. Let's call this 3. Okay, lower that down. Good, let's give that a little bit of a massage. Yeah, that poor leg is saying, holy moly, what are we doing? All right, so we've got the setup of your muscles here in your thigh. You've got 2 muscles that work together right down the center. That's why when you do it with your foot straight up like that, it's a little bit easier. We can hold it a little longer. When we go to the outside, we're working a specific part of the quadriceps muscles in here. And that's one muscle that works in conjunction with a couple of other smaller muscles. But it's harder to keep that leg up because we're asking that muscle to do a lot. And for many people, if you have an issue with your knee and the kneecap is not tracking, or you have wear, or you have something happening with the cartilage in there, it's often because the muscle on the inside is not strong enough. So this is a good way to practice getting that stronger. Let's extend the left leg, heel on the floor. We're going to squeeze and extend the toes. So if you're in your shoe, this is what you're doing with your toes. And folks at home, hopefully you're barefoot. You're able to be barefoot this morning and doing this nice movement. Excellent. And let's point and flex the foot. Good. So again, just getting some movement there in the ankle. Excellent. And then we'll start to circle around. Are you breathing in and out? I don't think I mentioned that for a little bit here. And reverse direction. Notice if your posture is kind of slouched down a little bit. See if you can sit up nice and tall. And then heel comes to the floor. This is where we can really kind of use the arms as a little guide here. Pull the belly in. In order to do this, we're going to bend and extend the knee. Wow, I got some noise up here on this side. Anybody else got noise? Yeah. All right. So bending and extending. And noise isn't exclusive to the knee, by the way. I just mentioned the knee, but ankles are noisy, hips are noisy, fingers, wrists, yeah, all of them. Every joint, right? Every joint can be noisy. And the next time that you bend your knee, you're going to bring your foot to the floor. So we're stretching the bottom of the foot, the bottom of the toes, and then slide or wiggle or walk that foot back as far as you can. Keep going. Hopefully at home you've got a chair that allows you to do that. Okay, so once you've got your foot back there as far as you can go, excuse me, we're going to straighten the spine and then slowly lean back and come forward. And breathe in, breathe out. So you want to lean back to the place where you feel those abdominal muscles really engage. If you use more weight in your arms, you're going to feel less in your belly. The less you use your arms, the more your belly has to work. Everybody got that? Yeah. You can see everybody going, oh, yeah, that's a difference. How about just one more time? So leaning back, great, and coming forward. Now keep your spine nice and straight and push your heel toward the floor and then come up on your toes. And we'll do that a few times. So pushing the heel to the floor and then coming up on the toes. And it might feel different on this side. I know it does for me. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah. It's always interesting when one side is so different than the other. Okay, let's do this just a couple more times. Great. All right, and now we're just going to lean back a little bit so we can slide that leg out. Have your heel on the floor. So with your heel on the floor, we're going to start by rotating the leg in and out and have that movement way up here. So you might bring your hand up to your hip and notice what you feel there. Okay, I can feel it on the outside. You can feel it on the front. And do the best you can. So we're all working with limitations too. I need to say that. No matter your age, no matter what your level of activity is, we all have some limitations that we work with. And that's the other thing that yoga brings us, is the ability to work with that and be comfortable. Okay, next time your foot is straight up, hold it here. Once again, hands alongside the chair, pull the belly in, and we're going to lift and lower that heel. Right, lift and lower the heel. Good. The next time you lift, let's hold here, press out through your heel, bring your toes to your knee. Really try and pull those toes up toward the knee. You should feel the quadriceps muscles on this side really starting to work. So let's see if we can hold for 5 breaths. You're strong in these muscles. We're going to get really strong in these muscles. That's 4 and 3 and 2. One more, you guys. Excellent. Let's lower that heel all the way down. Bend the knee. Give the thigh a little bit of a massage. And you might notice one side is stronger than the other. Maybe this was harder on this side, or maybe it was harder on the other side. Let's extend that leg one more time. And we're going to rotate the foot out to the little toe side. So if you look at your foot, it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock position. Once again, just kind of having the hands here. This helps to provide some support for your back, as well as just a mental check-in, because I often don't know that I'm sitting like this because this is my norm, right? So this is important to do. So we're going to lift and lower that heel, keeping the foot angled out. Breathing in and breathing out. Most important part is the breathing in and breathing out. And then the next time that you lift, let's hold here. Press out through your heel, pull your toes to your knee. All right, keep breathing. Keep these muscles here nice and strong. So if you can imagine your muscles going right from your hip down to your knee, kind of tracking on the inside a little bit of that leg. That muscle right there, those muscles are really working hard. And those are just for 2 more breaths. There's 1. Great, and 2. Good, and let's lower that down, bend the knee. Give that a little bit of a massage. Holy moly, right? Both legs, are they awake? They're awake, yes. Okay, good. So we're going to take those nice awake legs and nice awake feet, and we're actually going to come up to standing here. So I'm going to have you bring your feet a little wider than your hips. And just as a quick review, so we're going to be coming up to standing by shifting the weight forward, right? So it's just a different mental attitude in how we get up. Don't think about coming straight up. You want to think about going forward until you've come so far forward that your backside is actually off the chair. And then it's a simple straightening of the legs that brings you up. So you can have your hands on your thighs, or you can reach forward, whatever feels most comfortable. I'm going to do this with my hands on my thighs. I like to have when I look at my feet, have my heels a little bit behind my knees. So in other words, instead of having 90 degrees here with my ankle right underneath my knee, I'm going to be back a little bit. That gives me a little more leverage when I come forward. So think about this for how you get up from a chair or whatever seated position you're in. So I'm going to put my hands here. You can bring your arms forward if you like. Let's just keep coming forward. So you're just coming toward me. Keep coming toward me until your backside comes up off the chair, and then slowly straighten your knees. Excellent. So we're going to squat, coming down, don't sit. And then we're going to come all the way back up. Now, if you need to be a little closer to your chair, you can bring your chair in a little bit. We're going to do this several times. So we're bending here, hands on the thighs, keep the knees out. Don't let them come in together. Great. Yeah. Do we have 2 more in us? What do we think? Yeah? Okay. Nobody's breathing, so you can't answer me, right? You're holding your breath. Last one. Good. And then we're going to come all the way up. Excellent. Okay, let's shake that out a little bit. So squats are the best way to keep the muscles here in your thighs strong, or if you're not strong there, it's the best way to strengthen them. So I've been doing, I had a knee injury back in March, and I've been doing squats like crazy every day, at least 3 times a day. That was one of the things that was recommended. So if you've had knee surgery, you've had an surgery, same thing. I want you to get nice and strong here in the quadriceps. Not only go past your knee, you come up into your feet. All right, let's scoot around to the, everybody looks like they're ready for a little more challenge today. I don't know about you all, but it feels like spring. Like I can feel, I'm going to actually open this a little tiny bit more. If anybody gets chilly, let me know. Yesterday was so cold, I know, and today is just, here we go. So we're going to work a little bit with balance. Can you all see my feet and my legs behind the chair? Okay. If you have difficulty, I can move the chair out of the way. So bring your feet so that they're about, if you look down between your big toes, maybe 6 or 8 inches. And let's start simply by noticing, where do you feel more weight? In the front of your feet or the back of your feet? How many in the front of the feet? How many in the back of the feet? Okay, let's shift the weight into the heels. So we're going into the back of the feet. Now, how many feel on the inside of the feet, like the big toe side? You feel more weight there? How many feel that? And how many feel more weight on the little toe side? And it might be different from foot to foot. Let me just say that, right? So it could be different. Okay, so what I want you to do is shift a little more weight into the outside edges of your feet. So we're into the heels and we're into the outside edges of the feet. Might feel a little different, right? Might feel like you almost a little off balance. Most of us, I'm going to grossly exaggerate this. Most of us, this is our posture. I love doing this at airports. You watch people who are waiting for their flights. They're already flying. They're already going, right? They're there. So we come into this forward position. When I'm like this, there's a tremendous amount of pressure in the low back. There's more pressure here. So watch what happens. So here's where I'm standing with my hips and my shoulders in alignment and my head on top of my shoulders. As soon as I go into that forward leaning position, this is what has to happen to my head. I'm shorter back here. I'm longer here. I get into this position in my neck now that creates so much difficulty. So maybe you've never thought about the position of your feet as it relates to your neck, but it does. Okay, so we got the weight into the heels and the outer edges of the feet, right? Okay, lift your toes, and I know most of us are in shoes, so do the best you can. Lift your toes and spread them as wide as your shoes will allow, and then place them down. If you're in stocking feet or you're barefoot, even better. Now press into the bottoms of your toes. So we're pressing into the heels, the outer edges, and all the bottoms of the toes without scrunching the toes, right? Notice your breath. Okay, so the breath is smooth and steady. Now this is the least amount of stress for your body to maintain this standing position. So all we're going to do now, and you can have a hand or both hands on your chair, all we're going to do now is shift the weight into the right leg, but don't lose that connection of the heel, the outer edge, and the bottoms of all the toes. Right? Everybody got that? Okay, engage the leg muscles all the way up. So firm up that leg. Firm up that leg as tight as you can without leaning into that side, right? So let's come back to being on both feet. So we're not leaning into the side, we're just shifting the weight over. The difference. Okay, now come up on the toes of the left foot as you're doing that. So if you just have to make an adjustment, you weren't standing correctly. So let's come back. Feet are facing forward, not out to the side like this. So look down. Feet are facing forward. Press into your heels, outer edges, and the bottoms of all the toes. Breathing in and breathing out as you shift your weight into your right side and come up on the toes of the left foot. So it's a little different, yeah. And then we're going to bring the heel to the inside of your standing leg. Now try to use as little pressure on your chair as you can. Right? So you're using most of the muscular energy in your foot and your leg. Breathing in, breathing out. If it's comfortable, you feel comfortable, you can slide that foot up your leg a little bit, have your toes off the floor. If that just feels like, whoa, way too much, keep the toe on the floor. Let's see if we can take one hand off the chair, maybe bring it up, palm open. Breathing in and breathing out. Great. Find something to focus your gaze on. That will help with your balance. So we're definitely working with balance here. Make sure the breath is smooth and even, and then we're going to bring that hand back down and shift the weight back into both feet. Heels, outer edges of the feet. Pause for a moment and notice the difference between the right side and the left side. And then shifting your weight now into that left foot. So same thing, you want to be pressing into the heels and the outer edges and the bottoms of the toes. We're going into that left side. Again, hand or hands on your chair. We're going to come up on the toes of that right foot. Breathe in, breathe out. Try not to be leaning to that side. And then turning the heel to the inside of that ankle. So when you turn the heel, I'm just going to step out to the side here a little bit. So I don't mean like this with the knee forward. We're trying to get that knee out to the side. So that creates a little more challenge for the hip. For anybody who's got a hip issue, just do the best you can. If you don't have that kind of rotation, okay? Breathing in and breathing out. Let's see if we can bring the toes up off the floor. If that doesn't work for you on this side, let's come right back to where we were. And then, yeah, take the other hand off the chair. So whichever hand you took off last time, take the opposite hand off. Breathing in and breathing out. Excellent. If anybody feels like they want a little bit more of a challenge, see if you can take both hands. Maybe in front, maybe out to the sides. Just don't fall. That's the most important thing. And then hands come back to the chair. All right, let's shift the weight so that it's between both. Take a moment here and notice. So we're noticing right side and left side. Questions. Did anybody feel stronger on one side versus the other? Was it a surprise to you, or did you know that already? You knew that. Was it a surprise to anybody? Yeah, sometimes we're not aware of it, but we instinctively know it when it happens. Okay, so we're going to do a little work for the calf muscles. So calf muscles are back here, right? So what we're going to do is come up on the toes and then come down to the heels and lift the toes a little bit. So you're kind of rocking back a little bit. And then come up and down. So breathing in and breathing out. Yeah, good. Excellent. How's everybody doing with this, okay? Excellent. So the next time you come up on your toes, let's stay here, okay? Really squeeze the muscles in your legs. And then see if you can come down really slowly. Bringing the heels down very, very slowly. Great, let's try that again. So come right up on your toes. Breathe in, breathe out. See if you can come down really, really slowly. And it might be a smooth movement down. It might be a little jerky, right? Okay, one more time, we're going to come up. Now, instead of coming down on both, what we're going to do is shift the weight into the right foot. Give your left knee a little bit of a bend. So right now, you're standing up on the toes of your right foot, yeah? Okay, come down slowly on that right side. Just the right side. Woo. Wowie. A little harder, right? Both feet to the floor. Let's come up on the toes. Shift into the left side now, bend your right knee. Give it a little bend so the right foot isn't doing any work, and then slowly come down on that left side. Let's do that one more time on each. So once again, both feet, use both feet to come up, or both legs to come up. And then we shift to one side and slowly bring that heel down to the floor. We're strengthening those calf muscles by doing it this way. Both feet on the floor, coming up. Breathing in, breathing out. Shift to the left side. Slowly come down. That's a good one, right? Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Let's shake out the legs a little bit here. So, you know, we often think about strengthening muscles by contracting them, right? So my biceps muscles, I'm going to. But if I stay contracted, then I'm also strengthening. So it's like kneading dough, right? Anybody knead dough for bread or pizza or anything like that? You can't just push in one direction, right? You got to push and pull, and you got to go out and in, and you got to do all of that. Same thing with the muscles. So when we come up, when we're coming down, we're using that muscle, those muscles as a brake when we come down. It's like pulling the dough back. So we're getting all the fibers of the muscles worked, right? And then we don't, for anybody who has leg cramps at night, anybody get leg cramps? A good exercise to do to re-educate and things like that, they come from the muscles up here in the calf. Okay, so let's do a little bit more now. We're going to shift the focus from the calves. We're going to come up into the hips, okay? So with your feet facing forward, pressing into the outer edges, the heels and the bottom side of the toes. Shift your weight into your right foot. So we're shifting over, but try not to lean to that side. Both hands on your chair. We're going to take the left leg, bring it out to the side, and then bring it back. Slow and steady. Out to the side and back. Keep doing this. So the leg that you're standing on, the muscles are really strong around the hip. The leg that's moving, the muscles on the outside, those are your hip muscles as well. Keep breathing. Can we do just a couple more of these? These can be really challenging, you guys. How about one more? I know I said a couple. I'm so bad at math. And then we'll leave that down. Good, let's shake out that standing leg. Whew. So all the muscles supporting your hip. In that standing leg, we're just doing a lot of work. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So starting with your weight, toes facing forward. Again, if you're standing with your feet like this, turn your toes forward, shift the weight into your heels, into the outer edges of your feet, bottoms of your toes. Going to that left side without leaning into that left side. Slowly. Right leg comes out and down. Breathe in, breathe out. So challenge yourself. Try not to put that foot on the floor. All right, when it comes down, can you leave it lifted? Can you go slower, right? Breathing in, breathing out. Can you breathe easily? Okay, how about one more? Just one more. Excellent. All right, let's shake out that leg there. Whew. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of a work for the back part. So we were working the calves. We just worked the outside of the hip. We're going to work the back part of the hip, better known as the glutes, right? So your gluteal muscles, good for walking. I'm going to turn a little sideways so you can see. So starting with your feet in that nice position, weight in the heels, outer edges of the feet, hand on the chair, and you're going to stand up really close to your chair now. Shift your weight into your left leg and take your right leg back. Keep it straight, and the toe is on the floor. So for some people, you're going to have to go back a little farther. For some people, in a little bit more. So in other words, if I'm in too far, my hip is kind of cocked in this position. So I want to bring it back so my hips are level, but I'm really working here. So now put your hand on your own butt cheek there, the one with the leg that's extended back. Squeeze those muscles as you lift that toe off the floor and then lower down. Breathe in, breathe out. Now the tendency is going to be to lean forward, but we want to see if we can just use the muscles here. When I lean forward, I'm actually not using those gluteal muscles. I'm just using leverage, right? Breathe in, breathe out. So we just have to do a couple more of these. Keep the legs straight. That's really important. And one more. And great. Now shift your weight into that side. Shake out your legs a little bit. Take a moment. Notice the right side and the left side. Is there a difference? Yeah, and for me too. I can feel that. So I'm going to turn my chair this way. Make sure I get the Zoom people too. Okay, so we're stepping up nice and close to the chair. Again, the weight is in the heels, the outer edges and the bottoms of the toes. Take your, extend it back. So the big toe is kind of resting on the floor. Take your hand, place it right on the glutes on this side. Because the reason for your hand to you're lifting and lowering. So when I lift, I can feel that. If you don't feel it under here, if you don't feel the muscles, you're using your hamstring muscles or you're using your back muscles. So breathing in and breathing out, keeping the torso up. So don't bring your foot all the way back. You're keeping it extended on the toe, right? Extended on the toe. One more time. Great. Okay, let's shake that out a little bit. How are we doing? Whew. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of a stretch now. So again, standing up close to your chair, take your right foot, step it way back, keep your toes facing forward, and then bend your front knee as you come down onto your back heel. And then come all the way up. We're going to step that foot forward. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So bring that foot back as far as you can, bend your front knee and bring your heel to the floor. I'm going to turn the chair this way. Step forward. Other side, step way back, toe first. And then bend the knee as you come down on that heel. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to do this one. Straight. If you're bending the back knee, give it a good straightening. Great. We're stepping back. We're going to step back one more time on the right side, and we're going to hold it this time. So make sure your heel is touching the floor. If your chair is way out here, pull it back. So you're able to stand up nice and tall. Breathe in, breathe out. That back leg is getting the bottom part of the back leg should be feeling a bit of a stretch. Is that true? Excellent. Let's do this. As you inhale and exhale, we're going to take the right arm, breathe it up, and breathe it down. That's all there is to it. Just breathing it up in a nice big arc and breathing it down. How about two more times? Breathing up and down. Now reach up. Go higher if you can. So what I'm trying to get at is a little bit of a stretch somewhere between the middle part of your thigh and the lower ribs. Everybody feeling a little something in there? Wave at me if you are. Excellent. All right. Let's take two more breaths. And last one. And slowly lower that arm down. Let's come up on the toes of the back foot. Step it forward and then step the other one back. We're going to go right into that other side. So same thing. Get the heel on the floor. Make sure your toes are facing forward. Good. Okay, so with your right hand on the chair, now your left arm, breathe it in as you come up. Breathe it out as you come down. Breathe it in as you come up. Breathe it out as you come down. Couple more times. Beautiful. And last time, we're going to raise that arm up and hold it here and reach up. So get longer through the side of your body. So again, we're encouraging some sort of stretch somewhere between the middle part of that thigh and up to like the lower rib cage. You might even feel it up a little higher in your rib cage, especially if you've had if you've been having some difficulty breathing, getting a deep breath. How about 2 more breaths here? Can we all do 2? Okay, good. And there's 1. And the last one all the way down. Excellent. Let's take that back foot, step it forward. Okay, let's shake out the legs a little bit. How are we doing? Good. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of squatting here in the back. We can never get too much squatting. I was thinking about this because I think last week or the week before I mentioned doing balancing poses, you know, the tree pose here with your foot. Brushing your teeth while doing tree pose is a really good thing because you build some strength. Doing some squats while you're brushing your teeth is a good thing too, right? So can you squat for like half the time it takes you to brush your teeth, which is a minute, which is a long time. So we're going to practice a little bit of this now. So with your feet a little wider than your hips, toes facing forward. I'm going to move this out to the side. So you got both hands on your chair. We're going to stick the backside out behind like you're going to sit down, like there's actually something back there. Everybody in a comfortable position. So if you look down at your knees, you want to see that your knees are over your second and third toes. So if you're like this and your knees are going out to the sides, we're not getting what we want. We want to have the knees tracking over the second and third toes. Pull your belly in. Shift your weight into your heels. Right, so typically we have the weight all the way forward. As you shift the weight into the heels, notice a little more of your quadriceps muscles are working. Now you can have your hands on your chair, or if you'd like, you can put your hands on your thighs, right? Breathe in, breathe out, squeeze the muscles in your buttocks. Everybody still with me? Are you just holding on till it's over? Yep, that's okay, that's valid. So we're really working to strengthen these muscles. Let's take 2 more breaths if we can. This is a tough one. I'm asking you guys to hold this for quite some time. Okay, now how slowly can you come up? So don't come up quickly. Come up really slowly. You want to feel these muscles shaking a little bit. You want to feel a little bit of a quiver in there. All right, let's just kind of shake it out or move it out a little bit. How are we doing? All right. It's harder with the mask. Yes, it is. Breathing in general is harder with the mask. Okay, do we have 1 more of those squats in us? Can we do this? Okay, I think we can. So remember, your feet are a little wider than your hips. Toes are facing forward. When you bend your knees, you want your knees to be straight, not out to the sides. And come down as far as you're comfortable. So if you've got knee issues or hip issues, you don't have to come down very far. If you're super flexible and you want to like really squat down there, you can do that. So breathing in and out, hands on the chair or hands on your thighs, pull the belly in. Shift the weight into the heels. We really want to activate those thigh muscles. Let's breathe, shall we? Ooh, this is where it gets really tough and challenging. So breathing in, breathing out, more weight in the heels. Those thigh muscles are nice and strong and active. Just doing the best you can. If you need to come up a little bit, you can do that. So as we come out of this, again, really slowly, really slowly, straightening those knees. Feeling a little bit of a shake. Yeah. Excellent. Whew. All right, shake out those legs. All right, how do your legs feel right now? Like what? Like rubber. Yes, they might feel like rubber. Exactly. Yeah, because we just worked them like to their end game. When you get some shaking in the muscles, again, that's like the muscles saying, I'm out of gas. I got nothing left here. So, and that's a good thing when we're trying to build some strength. All right, so let's come around to the front of the chair. We've done a lot of squatting, so we're not going to do a whole lot here, but I want you to bring your feet a little wider than your hips. And don't sit quite yet. Yeah. We're not quite done, not quite done. So let's see how slowly we can sit without flopping. So just make sure you know that your chair is right there. Come down really slowly. Really slowly, breathing in, breathing out. Shift the weight into the heels. I like to just put my hand here because then I know when I land, I'm going to land on something solid. All right. Yep, those guys, give those guys a little massage saying thank you for all that work, right? Okay. So we did today, we really did an entire lower body workout here. So we really didn't do much with the upper body. So I'm going to encourage you when you go home or when you guys get on Zoom to just do a little bit for your hands, right? A little bit for your wrists, because we didn't get to any of this today because we really wanted to focus on that lower body. Don't forget your elbows, right? And then your shoulders, maybe doing some arm swings just to kind of get things moving in the upper body a little bit. Okay, so let's close with a little bit of a breathing meditation once again. So finding a comfortable seated position. If you're more comfortable sitting into the back of the chair, like all the way back, go ahead and do that. If you'd rather stay up front, you can do that as well. Close your eyes. So closing your eyes just brings your awareness inside your body. And again, at the very beginning of class, I talked about what we can and can't control. I can't control the noises and the activity outside of myself. I can control my responses versus my reactions. Reactions are when I just make some unconscious response. A response takes a little more conscious thought. So that's what I have control over. So breathing in and breathing out. Shifting your attention from anything outside of yourself right now. Again, any activity that might be going on, if you're at home on Zoom, any activity that might be going on in your home, just kind of tuning that out and bringing your focus to your breath. Breathe into a slow count of 4 and breathe out to a slow count of 4. And adding the pause, so breathe in to a slow count of 4. When you get to the top of that inhalation, hold your breath for a slow count of 4, and then slowly breathe out to a slow count of 4. Breathing in to 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4. Relaxing neck and shoulders, relaxing hands and arms. Noticing if you're feeling distracted, if something is kind of tugging at your mind, trying to get you out of this moment, simply come back to the counting of the breath. Breathing in to 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4. Breathing in to 4, holding for 4, breathing out to 4. If you can increase that count to 5, give that a try. If it's more comfortable to stay at 4, then stay there. After you've completed your next exhalation, just allow your breath to return to its natural pace and rhythm. And take your hands up to your heart. As you breathe in and out, take a moment just to call to mind anything or things that you can be grateful for. So in a year that feels like those little moments of gratitude are like needles in a haystack, we can maybe find one or two things that we can be grateful for. And then take another moment just with a little gratitude to yourself for your own wisdom, that intuition that you have that guides you, for your light, for your compassion, for your eternal beauty, because we are all eternally beautiful. And if it feels comfortable, maybe just opening your eyes and acknowledging that light and wisdom, that compassion and beauty around the room. And I just want to say how grateful I am to be here with you guys. You know, again, in this year that we've for all the work the folks here do and for your willingness to be here. So thank you.
Thank you.